The phrase seems like this omen. Don't waste your time. You have a lot to do. You've got to move. You've got to work. Every second counts.
Hey everybody, my name is Nick. I'm a director and editor living in Taiwan, talking about the show The Bear. The Bear is one of the best shows in recent memory. The writing and the acting and the directing are all amazing, but what impresses me the most about this show is its editing. The editors are listed as Joanna Nagel, Adam Epstein, Nia Imani, and Megan Mancini, and they are fantastic at what they do. When season 1 came out, I wanted to do a breakdown of a scene from the show The Bear and show how the editing drives the tension of the show. Season 1 of The Bear had this perfect breakneck pacing, and it utilized it in a way that kept the show watchable and contributed to the character development and the overall emotional arc of the series, but it drove you through it at a non-stop pace. I watched the entire series in, I think, 2 days. Just each episode, you just kind of really wanted to keep watching, and all the episodes flew by. I think the key words that described season 1 of The Bear were tension and pacing. That is what season 1 did so well. And utilizing editing to show those things is easy to understand, and it's kind of the flashy side of editing. When I watched season 2 of The Bear, that's when I really started to understand just how brilliant these editors are. Because season 2 switches things up, and many of the episodes are more subdued and more contemplative, and the pacing of the show slows down quite a bit in a way that frankly shocked me when I watched the first few episodes. Because I thought I knew what to expect from this show, but it changed that expectation a little bit when season 2 started. So the key word for me for season 2 changed to juxtaposition. Juxtaposition of this calm and this frenetic, this stillness and this tension, this driving force. Because there are still episodes in season 2 that go back to that breakneck pacing. They don't lose that, but there's also this breadth and this space that is similarly impressive in the way that it's done. But before I get too deep into why the editing on season 2 of The Bear is so brilliant and so genius, and is an elevation of what was established and working so well in season 1, I need to break down an important editing concept: the Kuleshov Effect. The Kuleshov Effect is one of the most fundamental concepts of editing. Lev Kuleshov demonstrated through an experiment how combining different images changed the audience's perception and understanding of them. The example that he created to prove this was he showed an expressionless shot of an old man. Then he cut to a bowl of soup, then back to the expressionless shot, then to a child in a coffin, then back to the expressionless shot, then to a beautiful woman reclining, back to the expressionless shot. The shot of the old man always remained the same, but audience's perception of the actor and what he was conveying was different when compared with different shots. So they saw grief when compared with the child in the coffin. They saw hunger when compared with the soup, and they saw desire when compared with the woman. This is the way that editing shapes scenes and conveys meaning to the audience, through juxtaposition, through pairing different images. This is the fundamental concept of film editing, and it's the fundamental concept of the language of cinema. And this Kuleshov effect is easiest to identify when given to you with a few sets of shots. So how does the Kuleshov effect relate to The Bear? Well, the Kuleshov effect is present in all media, but in The Bear, I think it would be easiest to identify given a few sets of shots, and I can break down a given scene and show you how the editors cut from a reaction to a certain line, or how a series of images cut together build and create this comparative feeling, right? That's the easiest way to explain it and the easiest way to see. But that's not the only way that this is used, and that's not the way that I noticed it in season 2 of The Bear. Because a film editor's job isn't just to construct individual scenes, it isn't just to pair two shots together. A film editor's job is also to take a macro view of a piece and tell the story. In fact, that is the more important and more difficult part of a film editor's job. So while the details are fun to analyze, the overall construction of the show or the movie that they're making is actually the more difficult part, and the part that you really need to work very, very hard to not forget about.
Something I noticed in The Bear was that they use this principle of the Kuleshov effect in the macro sense. The show has a given theme, and I believe that theme is what is important and where should our priorities lie in life. This is what I take away from The Bear. And through the editing, through the scenes that we are shown and the way we are shown them, our understanding and our thoughts about the answer to this theme changes. This is the Kuleshov effect used in macro. So just like on that small scale where the Kuleshov effect shows us how to change our ideas about a given shot, when we think about this comparison on a grander scale over the course of the whole series, what we're shown throughout changes our ideas about how we think and how we feel and how we're led through the story. And the editing in The Bear really mimics the complexity and the changing moods of life, the way that our ideas and thoughts about the world change as we learn new things or experience different things in our life. At the start of the season, the show is much more calm than we're used to. We focus on small moments. We focus on leisure, eating good food, spending time with loved ones. We focus on people going to school and learning new skills. And the show is only punctuated by these brief bursts of stress and pressure when the characters are kind of briefly thinking about trying to get this restaurant open. But there's so much more time in this show given to the slowness and the stillness of everyday life. And the show is doing this to play on the understanding of the world that we still have from season 1, which was in this non-stop survival mode. So the tension that we feel carried over from season 1 has been pushed under the surface. And as a viewer, you remember that trauma, if you will, and you start to get this unsettling feeling even in these calm moments. And all you can think about as a viewer is, how are the characters going to solve this problem, this big problem of opening this restaurant? How are they gonna fix it? Because that's what we were conditioned to do in season 1. So even as I'm watching them live their life, I keep worrying as I watch this show about how the restaurant is going to open and about all these problems that are piling up and getting introduced but not getting resolved. And this point gets accentuated by a shot of a sign that one of Carmine's mentors has hung near the clock in the kitchen that says every second counts. As things move slowly in the show, the phrase seems like this omen. Don't waste your time. You have a lot to do. You've got to move. You've got to work. Every second counts. And the characters are going slowly. The pacing is going slowly. And we feel time ticking away. Then the show inserts 2 episodes that return back to the breakneck editing pacing of the first season, a juxtaposition back to the old style. There's a flashback episode called 7 Fishes that show the stressful home life that Carmine grew up in, hinting at the idea that our trauma from the past, season 1 perhaps, affects how we feel about the now. And then the last episode, when the restaurant opens, we've been building up to this, and in an instant, everything is stressful again, everything is moving super fast again. The pacing is back to what we expect from the Bear in the final episode. People are putting out fires all over the place, working hard to make sure this restaurant is successful. And as a viewer, when we get this fast pace again, we feel this sense of purpose. We feel like this is the thing we've been waiting for. But something is different this time around, because we've seen so much about what else there is in life. This madness doesn't seem quite so important anymore. And then something really genius happens. When the tension dies down, even though the restaurant opening was successful, we find out that Marcus's mother has died, and we see Carmine ruin his relationship that he has been building up and obsessing over the entire season. And this all happens for the restaurant, for the opening day. The thing that is supposed to be the most important thing. And then we cut back to the sign hanging up against the clock. Every second counts. And just like Kuleshov predicted, our relationship to this phrase has completely changed. Every second of life counts. Not in what we need to be working on and stressing about and striving for. Every second of life counts in that we should be enjoying it and experiencing these seconds because they are precious. Our understanding our understanding of this phrase and the meaning behind this whole series completely changes. And it has such a strong impact because of the way that the editors have constructed the whole show. I mean, there really is so much to love about The Bear, but I think that this show is really uniquely made for and by film editors. At least that's what I feel when I watch it. Because even this mantra, this theme, every second counts, it's such a film editor idea, right? Like, that's how film editing works, and that's how the editors are thinking about the construction of this whole show, right? Every second counts. Every second that you include or you don't include contributes to the overall story and the overall ideas that you want to express. And that's the genius of this show. It's that the editors really understand how to put together every detail in a way that supports the whole of the series. There is so much to learn and love from a brilliant show like The Bear in many different areas of production, but editing is just the one that I feel the most confident speaking about. But let me know what you noticed and what you loved about season 2 or season 1 of The Bear. You know, for me, in a sea of these cookie cutter shows that come out on streaming and all look alike and feel the same and progress the same and the scripts feel the same, The Bear is just so unique, and I'm really actually excited for season 3, which is not something that I often feel about shows, even ones that I like. I often feel like, you know, even if a show is good, I don't want them to continue and ruin the show. But I think with Bear, we're definitely in good hands. And I'm excited to see what they do and how they elevate the show next for season 3, because they did such a good job progressing from season 1 to season 2. All right, that is my breakdown of the editing in The Bear. Remember to like, share, subscribe. You know the deal. You've been on YouTube a couple times before. But please do that because it does help little channels like mine out. So share this with your friend. See you guys next time.